A key skill for a high score is your ability to understand paraphrasing in IELTS exam. Paraphrasing is when the wording changes but the same meaning is retained. It can be done by synonyms, changing the grammatical structure and use of set phrases. Paraphrasing is also a crucial skill for the writing section as you need to change the wording of the question. It is also very useful in speaking and it shows up in the listening section. In the reading section, the words in the question will be reflected in the text, but they will not have the same vocabularies. They will be paraphrased, usually with synonyms. Actually, the reading section in IELTS is not actually about reading, it is about your vocabulary. Therefore, in this video, I gathered more than 500 essential words in 30 lessons which are useful for your paraphrasing skill. Download PDF from the link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the like button if you like this video. Please share this video with your friends who are interested in taking the IELTS exam. I hope these words help you to achieve a better band score in IELTS exam. Thank you for watching.
Abroad. Tour in another country. Overseas, internationally. Louis Armstrong often traveled abroad. Living abroad can be an educational experience. Abrupt. Quick, without warning. Sudden. There was an abrupt change in the weather. After the incident, everyone left abruptly. Acceptable. Allowable, satisfactory. Permissible. The idea was acceptable to everyone. The registrar accepted more applicants than he should have. Acclaim. Approval, applause. Praise. Isaac Stem has won acclaim abroad. Acclaimed authors often win Pulitzer Prizes. Actually. Being in existence, real or factual. Truly. They were actually very good soccer players. The actual time allotted to complete the test is 2 hours. Adverse. Displeasing, objectionable, bad. Unfavorable. Adverse weather conditions made it difficult to play the game. His indecision adversely affected his job performance. Advice. A recommendation given by someone not associated with the problem or situation. Suggestion. Good advice is hard to find. It is not advisable to stay up late the day before a test. Attractive. Calling attention to pleasing, creating interest, pretty. Appealing. The idea of working 4 10-hour workdays was attractive to the employees. The major attraction of the show was a speech by the president. Autonomous. By itself, with no association. Independent. Mexico became an autonomous state in 1817. Although working closely with the government, all businesses function autonomously. Chronic. always present, continual, constant. The author's chronic headache prevented her from finishing the chapter. He is chronically late to class. Disapproval. The act of disagreeing, not giving approval. Objection. Their disapproval of the plan caused the experiment to be abandoned. The students disapproved of the plan of study. Disruptive. Causing confusion and interruption. Disturbing. Frequent questions during lectures can be disruptive. The storm caused a disruption in the bus service. Haphazardly. Having no order or pattern, by chance. Arbitrarily, carelessly. It was obvious that the house was built haphazardly. Susan completed the assignment in a haphazard way. Persistent. Continuous, refusing to give up, firm in action or decision. Constant. The attorney's persistent questioning weakened the witness. Her persistence earned her a spot on the team. Postpone. To change to a later time, to delay. Reschedule. The referees decided to postpone the soccer match. The postponement of the meeting upset the impatient club members. Valid. Producing a desired result based on truths or facts. Convincing. The students had a valid reason for missing class. The professor questioned the validity of the test results. Withdraw. To remove, take out, take back. Extract. The player withdrew from the competition. Gloria had to make a withdrawal from her savings to pay tuition. Advantage. Something that may help one to be successful or to gain something. Benefit. Is there any advantage in arriving early? He was advantageously born into a rich family. Advent. The coming or appearance of something. Arrival. With the advent of computers, many tasks have been made easier. The newspapers announced the advent of the concert season. Agile. Able to move in a quick and easy way. Nimble. Deer are very agile animals. She moved agilely across the stage. Albeit. In spite of the facts, regardless of the fact. Although. His trip was successful, albeit tiring. Albeit difficult at times. Speaking another language is rewarding. Appealing. Attractive or interesting. Alluring. Working abroad is appealing to many people. Through his speeches, the candidate appealed to the voters. Celebrated, acclaimed, well-known and popular, renowned. The celebrated pianist will be giving a concert this weekend. San Francisco is celebrated for its multicultural makeup. Circumvent. To go around, avoid, evade. The hacker attempted to circumvent the computer's security system. Circumvention of the freshman math requirement is possible. Collide. To hit one object against another with violent force, to be in opposition. Crash. The collision caused major damage to both cars. Moon craters were caused when large asteroids collided with the moon. Contemporary. Modern, up-to-date. A person living at the same time as another person. Current. Contemporary architecture makes very good use of space. Cervantes was a contemporary of Shakespeare. Distribute. To divide among people or to give out. Dispense. Many publishers distribute their newspapers directly to homes in their area. The distribution of seeds is very quick with this new machine. Encourage. To promote, help, or support. Stimulate. The government cut taxes in order to encourage spending. The professor gave each student the encouragement that was needed to learn the material. Energetic. Full of life, action, power. Vigorous. Sam hasn't been as energetic as he usually is. There's a lot of energy in these batteries. Frail. Weak in health or in body. Fragile. The frail wings of the newborn bird could not lift it off the ground. One of the frailties of human beings is laziness. Heyday. A high point of success or abundance. Pinnacle. Many settlers became rich during the heyday of the California gold rush of the 1800s. We are living in the heyday of digital communications. Myth. An invented story or idea. Legend. Throughout history, myths were created in an attempt to explain many common natural occurrences. Mythology is the study of legends and fables. Refine. To make pure, to improve. Perfect. Factories must refine oil before it can be used as fuel. A squirt of lime juice is the perfect refinement to cola. Worthwhile. Value in doing something. Rewarding. It was worthwhile waiting 10 hours in line for the tickets. It's worthwhile to prepare for the IELTS. alter, to change or make different. Modify. Will the storm alter its course and miss the coast? Gloria hasn't altered her plans to return to school. Analyze. To study something carefully, to separate into parts for study. Examine. Scientists must analyze problems thoroughly. Analysis of the substance confirms the presence of nitrogen. Ancient. Something from a long time ago, very old. Old. Archaeologists analyze ancient civilizations. Dave found an ancient Roman coin. Annoying. A slight bother, disturbing to a person. Bothersome. Mosquitoes can be an annoying part of a vacation at the beach. She annoyed her parents by coming home late. Anticipate. To think about or prepare for something ahead of time. Predict. No one can anticipate the results of the games. They planned their vacation with anticipation. Ascertain. To discover, find out, determine. I tried to ascertain if he was telling the truth. The jury made a decision based on its ascertainment of the facts. Conform. To follow established rules or patterns of behavior. Adapt. You must conform to the rules or leave the club. She has always been a conformist. Enrich. To make rich, to make something of greater value. Enhance. The fine arts enrich our lives. The discovery of oil was an enrichment for the country. Intensify. To make stronger in feeling or quality. Heighten. The importance of the test will sometimes intensify the nervousness of the students. The chess match was played with great intensity. Intolerable. Difficult or painful to experience, not able to accept different ways of thought or behavior. Unbearable. Any opposition to the rules is intolerable. His boss was intolerant of his tardiness. Ongoing. Continuing. Current. The tutoring project is an ongoing program of the school. Maintaining roads is an ongoing job. Potential. Having or showing the capacity to develop into something in the future. Possibility. The medical students have shown great potential to become doctors. Small space heaters are a potential fire hazard. Propose. To suggest or plan to do something. Suggest. The governor is going to propose new taxes. Her proposal was well accepted. Restore. To give back or bring back something, to return to the original condition. Revitalize. He restored my confidence in him. It is a beautiful restoration of the old table. Staple. A fundamental element or principal part of something. Essential. Milk, bread, and eggs are staples of most American grocery stores. The main staple of Asian diets is rice. Turbulent. To be in a disordered, disturbed, or unstable condition. Chaotic. The plane flew through an area of turbulence. The turbulent crowd insisted on a meeting with the Prime Minister. Vital. Of great importance. Full of life. Indispensable. Money is vital to the success of the program. His intense vitality was easily observable. Ambiguous. Unclear meaning, something that can be understood in more than one way. Vague. The men received an ambiguous message from their boss. Her letter was full of ambiguities. Arbitrary. An action or decision made with little thought. Haphazard. Her choice of clothing seemed arbitrary. The teacher arbitrarily decided to give the class a test. Assert. To express or defend oneself strongly, to state positively. Declare. The government asserted its control over the banking system. The company president is an assertive individual. Astounding. Very surprising. Astonishing. The scientists made an astounding discovery. The fans were astounded by their team's success. Astute. Very intelligent, smart, clever. Perceptive. He was an astute worker, finishing in half the time it took the others to finish. They astutely determined that there would be no chance to finish on time. Concurred. To have the same opinion or draw the same conclusion. Agree. The director concurred with the conclusions of the committee's report. Do you concur with the details of the business plan? Deceptively. Making something appear true or good when it is false or bad. Misleadingly. The magician deceptively made the rabbit disappear. Bahram deceived Ali about the cost of the coat. Designate. To specify or select to do a task, to indicate. Assign. Mr. Zandi designated the secretary to represent him at the meeting. The designated driver drove everyone home after the party. Determined. Strong in one's opinion, firm in conviction, to find out. Resolute. They were determined to go to graduate school. The judge determined that the man was lying. Elicit. To get the facts or draw out the truth. Extract. A lawyer will elicit all the facts necessary to prove her case. Elicitation of the truth can be difficult at times. Embody. To be a good example of a concept or idea. Exemplify. The Constitution is an embodiment of Iranian ideals. Elam embodies all of the qualities of a good leader. Instigate. To cause a conflict or argument. Initiate. No one knew who had instigated the demonstration. Dissatisfaction with government policies instigated the revolution. Mundane. Common or routine. Ordinary. The student's mundane summer job frustrated her. His mother asked him to do all the mundane household chores. Petition. To make a request. Appeal. Iran petitioned the United Nations to consider its case. The student's petition was denied. Relinquish. To give up control. Abdicate. The troubled executive relinquished her control of the company. The relinquishment of his claim to the building will allow the building to be sold. Resilient. Strong enough to recover from difficulty or disease. Tenacious. She has a resilient personality and will soon feel better. The doctor was surprised by his patient's resilience. Tempt. To make it attractive to do something, usually something not good. Entice. The idea of getting rich quickly tempted him to invest his life savings. Desserts are more tempting when one is on a diet. Baffle. To confuse to a point at which no progress can be made. Puzzle. The causes of many harmful diseases have baffled doctors for centuries. That was a baffling question. Bear. To produce, to convey, to show, to endure. Yield. This orchard bears many fine harvests of apples. Although stock prices declined, losses have been bearable for most investors. Blur. To make something difficult to see. Unclear. The rain blurred everyone's view of the valley. The whole accident is just a blur in my mind. Brilliant. Intensely bright or colorful, intelligent. Radiant. Einstein was a brilliant thinker. She brilliantly produced a solution to the problem. Caution. to alert someone of danger, warn someone to take care or pay attention to something. Warn. The officer cautioned the motorist to slow down. They entered into the negotiations cautiously. Delicate. Needing careful treatment, sensitive, easily broken. Fragile. Because of its controversial nature, it was a challenge to discuss such a delicate issue in public. You must handle the antique delicately. Enhance. To increase in a positive way, such as in value, power and beauty. Strengthen. Passing the exam should enhance your chances of being admitted to college. The computer enhances our productivity. Facilitate. To make easier, to ease the progress of. Assist. His careful planning facilitated the completion of the project. Good teaching strategies facilitated student learning. Incessant. Non-stop, continual, or never-ending. Constant. The woman's incessant talking disturbed everyone watching the movie. The dog's incessant barking kept the whole neighborhood up all night. In conjunction with. In addition to, alongside. Along with. Exercise, in conjunction with a nourishing diet, contributes to a healthy lifestyle. The architects planned the building in conjunction with the engineers. Intrigue. To interest greatly. Fascinate. He was intrigued by the acclaim that he received. The intriguing question baffled historians. Obstruct. To prevent movement, progress and success. Block. Just after the storm, downed trees obstructed many roads in the community. A huge building obstructed the ocean view from the apartment. Persuade. To change a belief or behavior by argument or reason. Convince. They couldn't persuade their critics to see their point of view. John presented a persuasive argument for his salary increase. Recompense. A repayment or reward for a deed. Compensation. The knight received gold as recompense for saving the kingdom. His boss assured him that he would be recompensed for his extra efforts. Shed. To throw off naturally, to give out. Discard. In order to grow, crabs must shed their shells. The experiments shed no new information on the cause of the disease. Unique. To be the only one of a kind, special. Rare. He was presented with a unique opportunity to attend the conference. His style of writing is uniquely his own. Well suited. To be complementary or appropriate, a good match. Compatible. The design of the house is well suited to its surroundings. The experienced principal was well suited for the job of superintendent of schools. chiefly, the most important or most common. Mostly. Houses are made chiefly of wood products. Corn is the chief crop of the Midwest. Coarse. Not fine or smooth, not delicate. Rough. Sandpaper is an extremely coarse material. Wool clothing has a certain coarseness in texture. Commonplace. Ordinary. Frequent. In some parts of the world, text messaging is more commonplace than voice calling. Female lawyers are commonplace in the United States. Comparatively. Being measured or judged by comparison. Relatively. It was comparatively easy for him to learn baseball because he had been a cricket player. If you compare algebra and trigonometry, you'll discover that algebra is less complex. Complex. Difficult to understand or explain. Having many parts. Complicated. The businessman astutely approached the complex production problem. The universe has a complexity beyond comprehension. Conventional. Following accepted rules or standards. Traditional. Professor Canfield agreed with the conventional theory about the origin of the Basque language. To become integrated into a society, you must learn the conventions of that society. Curious. Odd or strange, eager to learn. Peculiar. A curious object was discovered in the remains. Sally was curiously interested in the history of Alaska. Emit. To send out, give off. Release. The raging forest fire emitted a dense, white smoke. Modern telescopes can detect the faintest light emitted by distant stars. Exceedingly. Very, to an unusual degree. Extremely. In tropical zones, it is exceedingly hot and humid. It is not safe to exceed the speed limit. Exclusively. No one else, nothing else, not shared with others. Restrictively. This room is used exclusively by the faculty. They excluded everyone under 21 from the contest. Extinguish. To bring about the end of something. Terminate. The firefighters quickly extinguished the flames. Modern medicine has extinguished many previously serious illnesses. Immense. Extremely large. Massive. From the mountain top, you can see the immense valley. She was immensely interested in the idea of teaching a foreign language. Rigid. Not easy to bend, firm, inflexible. Stiff. The teacher was very rigid in his ideas about class attendance. He adhered rigidly to his opinions about marriage. Routinely. regularly, usually done. Ordinarily. She routinely gets a physical examination. It is routine for students to become homesick at times. Stamina. Lasting physical or mental strength. Endurance. The Olympic runner demonstrated incredible stamina. The horse lacked the stamina to win the race. Sufficiently. Enough, in a satisfying manner. Adequately. Jenny is sufficiently mature to make her own decisions. Her income is sufficient for her needs. Visibly. Can be seen. Noticeably. Ken was visibly upset about his performance evaluation. Stars are more visible on a clear fall evening. Attribute. Something that is thought to belong to a person or thing, a quality by which something is identified. Characteristic. His ability to work on a team is one of his many outstanding attributes. The forest fire was attributed to careless campers who abandoned a live campfire. Brash. Confident or aggressive, lacking regard for consequences. Reckless. The brash young man made many poor business decisions. Lucy's brashness often got her into trouble at school. Clarify. To make more easily understood, to make clear. Explain. Chapter 2 in the textbook clarifies the process of osmosis. A clarification of the government's position on this matter is necessary. Conceal. To prevent from being seen or discovered. Hide. The students concealed their feelings about the course. His concealment of the evidence made his case more difficult to prove. Confirm. To make certain, give support. Prove. The director confirmed that the meeting would be on the 10th. We have just received confirmation of your reservation on the flight to Los Angeles. Convenient. Easy to reach, near, suitable to one's needs. Practical. The investigator suspected that the disappearance of the evidence was too convenient to be accidental. For the convenience of the student body, the library is located in a central location. Core. The central or most important part. Chief. The core curriculum consists of courses that are required of all students. They are loyal to the core. Critical. Very serious or unsafe, finding fault. Dangerous. It is critical to follow the directions for the experiment exactly as the instructor indicates. The runner accepted criticism from his coach very well. Discrepancy. A difference between things that should be similar or equal. Inconsistency. The discrepancy in her experiment data led her to believe that she had made a mistake. There is usually a discrepancy between how coffee smells and how it tastes. Distort. To change from the original shape or condition, usually in an unnatural way. Deform. Time and space are distorted when traveling at the speed of light. Distortion of the image from a microscope can be caused by low light. Diverse. Various, distinct from others. Different. Ali had many diverse interests in psychology. The diversity of life forms on the Earth makes zoology an interesting area of study. Eventually. To happen at some time in the future, usually gradually. Finally. A good education will eventually pay big dividends. Eventually, the couple will pay off their mortgage and own their house. Prosperous. Successful, wealthy. Thriving. In the early 1900s, San Francisco was a prosperous city. Bacteria prosper under the proper conditions. Purposefully. Done for a special reason. Deliberately. The course syllabus was designed purposefully to be easy to follow. He was authorized to spend the money for business purposes. Reveal. To uncover, to expose. Disclose. The president revealed some of his ideas before he gave his speech. The report made some revelations about the nature of the conflict. Scarcely. Almost not. Hardly. The woman scarcely spoke a word of English. Due to a scarcity of water, a rationing plan was established. Theoretically. According to a reasoned, but not proven, point of view. Hypothetically. His argument was theoretically appealing, but not realistic. Leonardo da Vinci theorized that Earth was not the center of the universe. Accelerate. To go faster. Hasten. The action of molecules accelerates when they are heated. The poor condition of the motor made acceleration difficult. Creep. To move slowly and quietly close to the ground, to begin to happen. Crawl. Some mistakes are beginning to creep into his work. Ivy is a creeping variety of plants. Crush. To press together so as to completely distort the shape or nature of the object. Grind. The machine crushes corn to produce cornmeal. Passage of the legislation was a crushing blow to the president's program. Cultivate. To plant and raise a crop, to encourage the growth of a relationship or friendship. Grow. The professionals had common interests that allowed them to cultivate a working relationship with each other. The cultivation of diverse crops in pre-Columbian America is well documented. Dictate. To state demands with the power to enforce. Impose. The workers were not in a position to dictate demands to management. His boss resembled a dictator. Distinguish. To hear, see or recognize differences. Discriminate. Some people cannot distinguish colors well. Anteaters are distinguished by their long noses. Docile. Easy to control or train. Manageable. The moose is typically a very docile animal. Many rebellious young people see docility as a weakness. Engender. To cause something new to exist, to create. Produce. The politician's charisma engendered enthusiasm. Economic conditions in the 1950s engendered an era of industrial growth. Engross. To become completely occupied or involved in an activity. Engage. The teacher's lecture engrossed the entire class. Henry's short stories engross readers all the way to their surprise endings. Flaw. A small sign of damage that makes an item imperfect. Defect. There is a flaw in his theory. They noticed that the contract was flawed. Harvest. The act of collecting a crop, the crops gathered. Gather. The United States had a comparatively good grain harvest this year. They were able to harvest the crop before the rain. Mammoth. Very large. Enormous. The successful entrepreneur is now known as a mammoth in the computer world. The physics teacher required the students to purchase a mammoth textbook. Mirror. To show, as in a mirror. Reflect. The results of the study mirror public opinion. The strength of the economy is mirrored in the standard of living of the people. Obtain. To gain or secure something. Gain. The university obtained a new particle accelerator. The painting by Ali Rahimi was not obtainable. Particle. A very small piece of something. Fragment. Particles of dust can destroy electronic instruments. Small particles of matter hold the keys to understanding the origin of life. Settle. To establish a home, to resolve a disagreement. Colonize. People arriving from the south settled in Shiraz. The lawyers settled their differences and came to an agreement. Transport. To move from one place to another. Carry. Flying is not always the fastest way to transport passengers to their destination. The transportation expenses of products increase the final cost of the item. Accurate. Careful and exact. Precise. She was able to make accurate observations with the new telescope. Experiments must be conducted with accuracy. Acute. Having a sudden consequence or severe effect. Intense. The President was acutely aware of the fact that her decision would be unpopular. He was suffering from an acute headache. Classify. To place into groups according to type. Arrange. Biologists classify life forms into many phyla. The library's catalogue is a classification of books in the library. Currency. Monetary unit, cash. Money. Most purchases in foreign countries must be made in the local currency. The Japanese currency is gaining strength against the dollar. Deep. Far below the surface. Complete understanding. Thorough. Lake Baikal is the deepest lake in the world. The depth of his understanding of math is remarkable. Dense. Closely packed or crowded, difficult to see through. Thick. The boating accident was caused by the dense fog. Hong Kong is one of the most densely populated cities in the world. Dim. Not bright or clear. Faint. The light was too dim for studying. The stars dimly lit the evening sky. Display. To show, reveal. Exhibit. The model displayed the details of the human hand. The candidate's display of anger was unfortunate. Exports. Products sold abroad. Foreign sales. The United States imports now exceed its exports. Exported goods are usually high in quality. Gigantic. Very large. Enormous. Reaching the moon was a gigantic step in space exploration for mankind. New methods of farming offer gigantic advantages over the old methods. Impressive. Causing admiration because of an object's importance, size, or quality. Imposing. Lincoln's power of persuasion was impressive. Everyone left with a good impression of the play. Install. To set up or create an office. To place in a fixed position. Establish. The software we needed was already installed on the computer. Mr. Zandi was installed as president of the Zandi English website last week. Jargon. language specific to a profession or activity, dialect. Terminology. The legal jargon in the contract was confusing. Science fiction jargon used in television shows and movies often comes from real science. Lasting. Forever, without end. Enduring. Kennedy left a lasting impression on the people who heard his inaugural address. The introduction of robots will have a lasting effect on the industry. Straightforward. Easy to understand, simple, honest. Uncomplicated. The assembly directions were straightforward. His straightforward approach to his business dealings earned him respect. Uniform. Every part being the same. Consistent. Bread has a uniform texture. The grades on the test were uniformly poor. Vibrant. Lively, powerful, full of action, bright. Brilliant. His vibrant personality made him well liked by everyone. The vibrance of the city is attractive to many individuals. Distinct. Clearly noticed, different. Definite. There was a distinct aroma of coffee in the restaurant. The two theories are distinctly different from each other. Dominant. Primary or principal, having or exercising control over something. Major. The dominant life forms of the Paleozoic era lived in the water. The skyscraper dominated the skyline. Dormant. Not growing or producing, asleep. Inactive. The volcano had been dormant for hundreds of years before the eruption last month. The seniors live in the new dormitory. Drab. Lacking color, uninteresting, boring. Colorless. Their clothing was quite drab. The drabness of the desert made driving less interesting. Dramatic. Something that captures the imagination, exciting. Emotional. The dramatic finish of the game left us speechless. The hurricane dramatically changed the coastline. Eclectic. To select or represent something chosen from many sources or places. Diverse. He has an eclectic taste in music, from hard rock to classical. The eclectic group of students came from 15 different countries. Elaborate. Something with a large number of parts, full of details. Complex. An elaborate headdress indicated rank within the Aztec community. His elaboration of the issue was quite thorough. Exceptional. Unusual in a positive way. Phenomenal. The orchestra's performance was exceptional. The North Star is exceptionally bright. Genuine. Honest or true, real. Authentic. She was genuinely concerned about world hunger. This is a genuine artifact from the American Civil War. Hazardous. Very risky, unsafe. Dangerous. Handling flammable liquids is hazardous. There are many hazards involved in starting a business. Minuscule. Of little consequence, very small. Tiny. The sale of the building had a minuscule effect on the profits of the corporation. Some leaves are covered with minute hairs. Prime. To make ready. First in importance or in time. Prepare. The directors primed the actors before the performance. Mozart passed away in the prime of his life. Rudimentary. Simple, not complex. Basic. He has a rudimentary knowledge of computers. The rudiments of grammar are taught in all English classes. Skeptical. To question the truthfulness of information presented as fact, to not trust. Unconvinced. The professor was skeptical about the theories of climate change. To answer his skeptics, the scientist presented proof of his conclusions at the conference. Stoic. Showing no emotion, appearing disinterested. Indifferent. His stoicism was unusual since he is normally an emotional boy. His stoic reaction to the event surprised his friends. Superficial. Simple, not deep, near the surface. Shallow. The inspector determined that the crack in the bridge was only superficial. You should not try to answer the question superficially. Vigorous. Powerful. Full of action. Strong. His vigorous defense of the issues impressed everyone. He approached his work with vigor. Amenity. Something that makes life easier or more enjoyable. Convenience. She missed all the amenities of the home when she went camping. People expect many amenities at a 5-star hotel. Disperse. To cause to move in many different directions. Circulate. The high winds and rain dispersed the crowd. After the hurricane, dispersed belongings cluttered the street. Dwelling. Where people live. House. Cave-like dwellings have been discovered throughout the world. City dwellers often have trouble adjusting to life in the country. Element. A part of the whole. environment, component. Her presence added an element of humor to the group. Hard work and perseverance are the basic elements of success. Elementary. Simple in structure, easy to do. Primary. The solution to the problem was actually quite elementary. You must take elementary physics before you can enroll in the advanced course. Eliminate. To remove, free oneself of something. Delete. Mistakes must be eliminated before you hand in a term paper. The elimination of the runner from the race was decided by the judge. Emerge. To come into view, or existence. Appear. It took an hour for the newborn chick to emerge from its egg. The sun emerged from the thick rain clouds, giving hope that the game would be played. Emphasize. To show that something is especially important or exceptional. Highlight. The professor emphasized certain aspects of the historical period. When asked if they would like to leave class early, the students answered with an emphatic yes. Encircle. To make a circle around. Surround. The players encircled their coach after winning the big game. The encircled celebrity actually became afraid of her fans. Erratic. No regular pattern in thinking or movement, changeable without reason. Inconsistent. The artist's paintings have an erratic quality, some being excellent, and others mediocre. The unstable chemical reacted erratically. Exaggerate. To make something more than what it is. Overstate. The federal government exaggerated the success of its programs. To say that his business is successful would be a slight exaggeration. Integral. To be an essential or basic part of something. Vital. Knowledge of spelling is an integral part of writing in any language. A film's music is integral to drawing the viewers into the story. Justify. To show to be right or reasonable, to support. Defend. The young boy could not justify his rude behavior. There was no justification for the criminal's attack. Mention. To say, relate in written form. Remark. Theatergoers often mention that they enjoy watching movies on a large screen. The book mentioned above was included in the bibliography that was handed out in class last week. Mortify. To embarrass. Humiliate. He was mortified upon forgetting his lines during the play. She mortified her son by showing Alice his baby pictures. Prevalent. Existing widely or commonly. Commonplace. Comfortable trade winds are prevalent in the Caribbean islands. There is a prevalence of disease where poor sanitation conditions exist. Release. to allow to come out, to give freedom. Free. A new movie was just released. The release of the Supreme Court's decision was expected today. Benefit. To be useful or helpful. Assist. Use of solar power will benefit all mankind. It is extremely beneficial to prepare for a test. Blind. Unable to see or understand, to conceal, showing poor judgment or understanding of something. Unaware. They were blind to the fact that they had little chance to succeed. He went into the job blindly, with no previous experience. Broaden. To make larger or greater. Enlarge. Education will broaden your opportunities to land a good job. The breadth of his knowledge is impressive. Burgeon. Growing at a fast pace. Thrive. The burgeoning population of major cities is creating a demand for more services. His talent as a pianist burgeoned at the age of 14. Conspicuously. Attracting attention. Noticeably. His name was conspicuously absent from the list of winners. The attorneys were conspicuous for their aggressive manner in the courtroom. Deficient. Not having enough of something. Lacking. A diet deficient in calcium can lead to bad health. There is a deficiency of qualified engineers in the country. Eloquent. Expressing clearly, effectively, and convincingly. Articulate. Successful politicians are usually eloquent speakers. That student's essay is eloquently written. Endorse. To express approval. Support. The union endorsed the new contract. The President's endorsement of the project guaranteed its funding. Enormous. Very large. Tremendous. His enormous wealth allows him to contribute to many charities. A diet with many fruits and vegetables is enormously beneficial to the body. Entirely. Completely. Thoroughly. The economist was entirely right in his analysis. The President released the speech in its entirety before the news conference. Erode. To wear away, disappear slowly. Deteriorate. The senator's support is eroding because of his unpopular positions on the major issues. It took trillions of years of erosion for nature to form the Grand Canyon. Evaporate. To vanish. Disappear. The chances of the two sides reaching an agreement have evaporated. The evaporation of the funds was unexplainable. Noteworthy, deserving positive recognition or attention. Remarkable. The university has a noteworthy collection of ancient texts. There was a noteworthy increase in the amount of money the school raised. Recover. To get back, to have something returned. Retrieve. The NASA team was unable to recover the space capsule. The recovered objects had not been damaged. Reportedly. To know by the report, unconfirmed, supposedly. Rumored. The students reportedly sent a representative, but she has not yet arrived. The reported tornado has not been confirmed. Shift. A change in position or direction. Switch. The shift in the wind was helpful to the sailors. Earthquakes are caused by shifting layers of earth along faults. Susceptible. To be subject to influence, capable of being affected by a person or thing. Vulnerable. When traveling in tropical climates, travelers are susceptible to malaria. Adolescents are especially susceptible to the influence of their friends. Crucial. Of great importance, extremely necessary. Critical. Favorable weather is crucial to a good harvest. Having all the information necessary to make a good decision is crucially important. Dignitary. A very important or famous person, usually associated with a high position in government. Celebrity. Every dignitary in Washington was invited to the wedding. All of the high-ranking dignitaries attended the economic summit. Elude. To escape in a tricky way. Evade. The criminal has eluded the police for months. Success has been elusive for the team. Evident. Easy to see, usually because of some proof. Apparent. It is evident that you are not feeling well. All the evidence points to the presence of hydrogen. Exhaust. To use completely. To expend all energy. Very thorough. Deplete. They exhausted their energy in 10 minutes. The exhaustive report was acclaimed by everyone. Extensive. Large in area or number. To offer, to make longer. Comprehensive. The extensive snowfall caused problems throughout the city. The professor extended a warm welcome to the new student. Face. To be in the presence of and oppose. Confront. The mountain climbers faced grave danger on the cliff. He finds it difficult to face his problems. facet, element or component, aspect. The proposal had many beneficial facets. It was a multifaceted problem that challenged the entire student body. Idol. A person or image that is loyally admired or respected. Hero. The Beatles, a famous singing group of the 1960s, were the idols of many teenage girls. Talented athletes often become idols in the eyes of their fans. Inaccessible. Something that cannot be reached or communicated with. Remote. The summit of the mountain was inaccessible. The dignitary's inaccessibility frustrated the reporter. Oblivious. To be unaware of or forgetful. Ignorant. The students were oblivious to the fact that the test would cover the entire chapter. The coastal inhabitants were oblivious to the dangers of the approaching hurricane. Obviously. In a clear, easy to understand way. Evidently. It had obviously rained. It was obvious that he had not practiced his oral report. Offensive. Causing anger, rude, being unpleasant. Insulting. Rotten eggs emit an offensive odor. Her offensive remarks angered the entire audience. Predictably. In a way that foretells future events. Expectedly. She predictably forgot to do her assignment. The government's predictions were accurate. Suitable. Correct, convenient. Appropriate. Her dress was not suitable for the occasion. The agreement suits all the members of the negotiating team. Surpass. To go beyond. Exceed. The movie surpassed even the film critics' high expectations. The soccer player will probably surpass the scoring record set last year. Uphold. To support or maintain. Sustain. The treehouse was upheld by 3 thick tree branches. Each President of the United States must promise to uphold the Constitution. Ample. More than enough. Sufficient. There is ample evidence that the young man was speeding when the accident occurred. She was amply paid for the work she completed. Arduous. Very difficult or challenging, requiring hard work. Demanding. The mountain tour guides climbed the mountain at an arduous pace. The farmers' crops survived despite the arduous summer heat. Arid. Being of little rain or water. Dry. The area known as the Sahara Desert is one of the aridest places in the world. The valley on the leeward side of the mountain was extremely arid. Avert. To stop from occurring, to turn away or aside. Prevent. She could have averted the accident if she had not been texting while driving. The citizens packed sandbags along the river bank to avert the flooding of their streets. Defy. To show little fear or regard for rules or established norms, to challenge. Resist. I defy you to find that book in the library's collection. The circus performer demonstrated her death-defying routine. Diligent. Done with persistence and hard work, with attention to details. Conscientious. Stephanie displayed great diligence in the completion of her assignments. The diligent worker received recognition for his accomplishments. Enact. To pass a law. Legislate. Congress enacted the legislation during its last session. The enactment of the laws was in the hands of the Senate. Feign. To pretend. Make believe. Simulate. She feigned illness when it was time to visit the dentist. The athlete feigned his injury. Fertile. Able to produce abundantly. Rich. The delta areas of rivers are known for their fertile soil. Fertilizers are used on crops to increase yields. Freshly. Caught or produced not long ago. Recently. Freshly harvested produce is hard to find in the winter months. The product's freshness depends on an efficient transportation system to bring it to market. Function. The normal purpose of something. Role. It is the function of the director to organize and lead the department. Most appliances cannot function without electricity. Fundamental. A primary or basic element. Essential. The student government promised fundamental changes in the registration process. He is fundamentally strong in his area of expertise. Indiscriminate. Not chosen carefully, unplanned. Arbitrary. The indiscriminate arrangement of the products made the store confusing. The book's chapters seem to be organized indiscriminately. Pinpoint. To find or describe something with precision. Locate. The engineers were immediately able to pinpoint the problem with the bridge. The new, advanced thermometer measures the temperature with pinpoint accuracy. Selective. Carefully chosen. Discriminating. They were very selective when they chose the members of the academic team. He selected Spanish as his language class. Spacious. Having a lot of room. Expansive. The spacious plains of the Midwest make up the nation's breadbasket. A vacuum is an empty space. Withstand. To fight without surrender, to persist. Survive. She cannot withstand the pressures of her job. The old building withstood the terrible storm. Adhere. To stick to or follow precisely. Comply. Travelers must adhere to the laws of the country they are visiting. The referee's excessively strict adherence to the rules upset the players. Durable. Something that lasts a long time. Time during which something lasts. Sturdy. It was a durable refrigerator, but it finally broke. The durability of tires is a key factor in determining their quality. Foster. To promote growth or development. Stimulate. The Industrial Revolution fostered the rise of the middle class. Parents usually foster the development of good habits in their children. Gain. To obtain something needed or useful. To increase to the amount of something. Attain. He gained a lot of experience working as a volunteer. His gain in knowledge was impressive. Halt. To stop or discontinue. Stop. But service to the city was halted due to poor road conditions. The supervisor put a halt to the tardiness of the employees. Handle. To deal with or control. Manage. They handled themselves very well given the circumstances. The president's handling of the crisis was widely applauded. Harbor. To give protection, to not express a desire or opinion, usually bad. Shelter. He harbors ill feelings for her. They harbored the political refugee in their home. Harmful. Something that causes pain or damages. Unhealthy. Excessive radiation is harmful to the body. Bleach harms certain fabrics. Insignificant. Not important. Of little value. Meaningless. The amount of rainfall this summer has been insignificant. The insignificance of his comment became apparent with the passing of time. Mysterious. Not easily understood or figured out. Baffling. He had a mysterious effect on everyone who heard him speak. The man's disappearance was a mystery. Perilous. Perilously. Threatening or risky, harmful. Dangerous. It is perilous to exceed the speed limit. There are ample perils in the sport of mountain climbing. promote, to encourage or advertise, to elevate in rank or grade, boost. Many nations promote tourism to lure foreign currency. The customers responded favorably to the half-price promotion. Redundant. Being excessive, showing unnecessary repetition. Repetitious. Students who ask teachers to repeat that again are being redundant because repeat means again. Lush, redundant vegetation is common in tropical climates. Reject. To refuse. Refuse. The insurance company rejected the claim. The rejection of his work was difficult for him to understand. Substantial. Important, strongly made, of value. Significant. The discovery of a vaccine for COVID-19 was a substantial medical achievement. This substantive article will change your opinion of rock music. Trait. Specific qualities that distinguish one from another. Characteristic. Her sense of humor and cheerful personality are some of her most impressive traits. Ali's blonde hair is a trait inherited from her father. Underscore. To make evident or emphasize. Highlight. The high quality of the student's science fair project underscored her talent in biology. The conclusion of the report should underscore its main ideas. Conscientious. Showing serious purpose, one who works carefully and with enthusiasm. Meticulous. She is a conscientious representative of the student body. They approached the task conscientiously. Convey. To make something known to others, to communicate. Communicate. The manager of the store conveyed his displeasure directly to the workers. He was able to convey his message to the audience with ease. Encompass. To surround completely, to envelop. Include. Her plan of study encompasses every aspect of computer science. The course encompasses all the literature of the 19th century. Expansion. The act of making larger. Growth. Expansion occurs when the matter is heated. The laboratory is expanding its capacity to produce computer chips. Heighten. To cause to become greater. Intensify. A very successful interview can heighten a candidate's chances to get a job. The public was in a heightened state of nervousness as the hurricane approached. Highlight. To emphasize the part of a greater whole. Emphasize. The owner's manual highlights the basic functions of the camera. The final goal was the highlight of the game. Inadvertently. By accident, without paying attention, unexpectedly. Carelessly. The reporters had inadvertently failed to include the name of one of the dignitaries. His inadvertent calculation caused him to derive the wrong answer. Inevitable. Something that cannot be prevented from happening. Unavoidable. When two weather systems meet, unsettled weather conditions are inevitable. The inevitability of the outcome made the challenge less exciting. Infancy. In the beginning stages of development. Beginning. The new theory is in its infancy and will be thoroughly tested by its critics. The author's infantile writing style appeals to young readers. Mimic. To copy in action. Imitate. The comedian mimicked the president's gestures. Parrots mimic the speech that they hear in their surroundings. Retrieve. To find and bring back. Recover. Will Detroit retrieve its status as the car manufacturing center of the world? This computerized information retrieval system is the most up-to-date system available. Paramount. To be of highest importance. Foremost. The club's paramount goal is to raise awareness of the importance of community service. Being quiet is of paramount importance while watching a movie at the theater. Proficient. A primary or basic element. Competent. The exam will test the student's proficiency in the Portuguese language. Highly proficient athletes earn the privilege of competing in the Olympics. Systematically. Done according to a plan. Methodically. The plan was developed systematically by a team of experts. Systematic changes in foreign policy have been proposed. Unlikely. Not probable. Doubtful. Rain is unlikely to occur during the dry season. It is unlikely that he will want to attend the conference. Unwarranted. Without good reason or cause, inappropriate. Unjustified. His negative reaction was unwarranted. The motorist felt that the ticket for the infraction was unwarranted. Zenith. The highest point. Apex. He reached the zenith of his profession at a very young age. The publication of the book represented the zenith of his career. Agitate. To shake or move, to cause worry. Disturb. The fact that she had not arrived by midnight agitated her parents. He was known as a political agitator. Comply. To agree to follow a request or command, to adhere to specific standards. Acquiesce. A well-trained dog will comply when told to sit. Students must maintain a B average to remain in compliance with the scholarship's rules. Confidential. To be said or written in secret. Secret. We were told that the information is strictly confidential. She confided to me that she had always wanted to be a movie star. Delighted. To be satisfied. Very happy. Elated. He was delighted with the results of the experiment. It was a delightful afternoon. Discreetly. In a careful, polite manner. Cautiously. The teacher discreetly told the parents about their child's inappropriate behavior. You can count on me to be discreet. Documented. Proven with written evidence. Proven. He had documented proof that the bank had made an error. The car's documentation was in order. Evoke. To call up or produce memories or feelings, to cause to remember. Remind. Hearing her favorite song evoked fond memories of her high school years. Most sounds evoke hints of time and place. Gradually. Slowly, but surely. Steadily. The bay has gradually deteriorated over the years. There has been a gradual change in the climate over the past decade. Impartial. Showing no favoritism, being fair or just. Objective. Teachers must be impartial judges of their students' work. Judges are known for their impartiality. Inordinate. A large amount or quantity, more than reasonable. Excessive. The airlines had to cancel an inordinate number of flights due to the fog. There was an inordinately large number of whales off the coast. Instantly. Happening immediately, in a short period of time. Immediately. The computer finished the job instantly. It happened in an instant. Intentionally. With definite purpose and planning. Deliberately. The machine was left on intentionally. Her action was an indication of her good intentions. Intrinsic. Being a primary part of something. Inherent. A penny has little intrinsic value. The forests of the Northwest are intrinsically rich in natural resources. Inundate. To flood. Overwhelm. The radio stations were inundated with reports of a severe traffic accident. The foundation experienced an inundation of requests for money. Mindset. An established attitude or mood. Mentality. A person is more likely to succeed if he or she approaches projects with a positive mindset. The political mindset is different in every region of the country. nominal. Very small, in form, but not in substance. Moderate. The office building was sold at a nominal price. She was nominally successful as an actress. Presumably. Reported, but not confirmed. Supposedly. The old wreck was presumably located southwest of Florida. I presume that you have been camping before. Diminutive. Extremely or unusually small. Minuscule. A diminutive figure dressed in black. A diminutive person is short and small. Absurd. Clearly false, without reason. Ridiculous. Confidentially, I think his suggestion is absurd. They are absurdly irrational about the issue. Allocation. A share, a part set aside for a special purpose, an assignment of portions. Distribution. His allocation of materials was gradually used up. Allocating office space in the building was a difficult task. Balanced. A state where everything is of the same size or weight. Equalized. He made a balanced presentation of both points of view. The museum contains a pleasant balance of paintings from the 18th and 19th centuries. Come across. To find or discover, usually by chance or mistake. Encounter. The woman came across the old love letters while looking through photos of her youth. The professor came across the article while searching the internet. Culminate. To finish, to reach a climax or the highest point. Conclude. The rock song culminated in a loud guitar solo. After 4 years of diligent study, the students' hard work culminated in several offers of full scholarships for college. Demeanor. Someone's outward appearance or behavior. Conduct. The old woman had a pleasant demeanor. The dog was huge, but its friendly demeanor eased my fears. Exert. To put into use. To put forth an effort. Apply. He had to exert all of his strength to move the heavy box. Your body will be better prepared for physical exertion if you exercise daily. Fallacious. Having errors. Incorrect. Her fallacious argument could not be defended. It is fallacy to think that money will bring you happiness. Feasible. Able to be done. Possible. It is a feasible design for the high-rise building. Before they begin the project, a study must be done for its feasibility. Lack. A need for, an insufficient amount. Shortage. There was an inordinate lack of rain last fall. The mathematician was lacking in communication skills. Limber. To be stretched, easily shaped. Flexible. The dancer has a limber body. She was able to make the limber movements that are required of gymnasts. Means. Ways. Methods. He was told to finish the job by any means available to him. The most convenient means of communicating with someone is by phone. Narrow. Small from one side to the other, limited. Thin. The canal was extremely narrow. The driver narrowly escaped injury when his car ran off the road. Preconception. An opinion formed in advance without experience or knowledge of something. Bias. It is difficult to overcome preconceptions if we are not open to new ideas. His preconceived notions about Los Angeles disappeared after he visited the city. Robust. Showing good health. In good shape. Energetic. The robust economy is expected to continue growing quickly. The new product is selling robustly. Steady. Firm. In a fixed position, without change, reliable, dependable. Constant. Steady growth is projected for companies involved in genetic engineering. The secretary has steadily earned respect for her work. Swift. Quick. Fast. The contestants were swift thinkers. They swiftly agreed with the conclusion of the report. Antiquated. Too old to be presently useful, outmoded, old-fashioned. This antiquated machinery breaks down too frequently. Their home is filled with antique furniture. Coherent. Well-reasoned, ideas that are clearly presented. Sticking together as a group. Logical. It was a well-balanced, coherent presentation. There was a cohesive feeling among the new workers. Evolve. To grow, to go through a period of change. Develop. The management team's idea evolved over a period of 2 years. The country's helps for rapid evolution of its economy depend on the approval of free trade agreements. Fabricate. To make up, usually with an intent to fool or trick, to lie. Invent. The executive fabricated the story about the merger. His alibi is the weakest fabrication I have ever heard. Generic. Relating to a whole group or category of things. General. Bird is the generic term used to describe animals with feathers. Universities provide students with the generic skills needed to compete in the workplace. Investigation. A careful examination in order to determine facts. Probe. The comprehensive investigation of the bank revealed no illegal activity. Some members of the Senate wanted to appoint a special investigator. Normally. Commonly, usually. Typically. It is normally quite cold this time of the year. The new treaty led to a normalization of relations between the two countries. Notion. An idea, belief, or opinion. Concept. She has the notion that she wants to become an architect. Some outlandish notions about the origin of the solar system have been disproved. Novel. Something unusual, uncommon, new. Original. The physicist had some novel ideas about traveling at the speed of light. The novel suggestions were implemented. Nurture. To support and encourage the development of something. Cultivate. The owner of the vineyard carefully nurtures the grapevines in order to produce the best grapes. That school is well known for having a nurturing learning environment. Opposition. The state of acting against, not being in agreement. Resistance. The students voiced their opposition to the rise in tuition. The government opposed price controls. Relate. To tell, to show a connection between two things. Communicate. Although they did not agree with the plan, they did not relate their opposition to it. What is the relationship between supply and demand? Suspect. To think that something is true, but having no proof. Speculate. He suspected that the substance was not present in the compound. I have a suspicion that he will want to participate in the investigation. Transform. To change in form or appearance. Alter. The leader's policies transformed the country in many positive ways. The student's transformation from a D student to a B student was remarkable. Trigger. To initiate, cause or start. Generate. The possibility of being in the path of a hurricane triggered fear in the residents of coastal areas. The town hall meeting triggered a lively debate about the need for increased taxes. Unbiased. With no preconceptions. Objective. Her unbiased analysis of the problem allowed her to find the solution more rapidly. Here is unbiased proof that nitrogen exists in this compound. Varied. Being of many different types. Diverse. The class expressed varied opinions about the movie. There are various ways to solve the problem. Accentuate. To highlight, to give more importance to. Emphasize. The colorful dress accentuated the joy of the occasion. The supervisor accentuated her preference for hardworking employees during the performance appraisal. Devise. To brainstorm, to come up with an idea. Formulate. The firefighters devised a plan to safely bring the cat down from the tree. The scientists had to devise an entirely new experiment after the first one failed. Disguise. To hide the usual appearance of something. Conceal. It is hard to disguise the fact that business is slow. Everyone saw through his disguise. Ignite. To set on fire, to give energy or life to something. Kindle. The jury's decision ignited a fierce debate in the legal community. Wood is difficult to ignite if it is damp. Indifferent. Being uninterested or not caring about something. Apathetic. The teacher was indifferent to student requests to extend the project's deadline. The player's indifference about his error on the field upset the coach. Initiate. To begin, to establish, to take decisive action without help. Launch. The newcomers initiated the long citizenship process. Their work shows a lot of initiative. Innovative. Something newly introduced, creative. Creative. This innovative project is worthy of support. There have been many innovations in the field of genetic engineering. Narrate. To tell a story, relate. Relate. Walter Cronkite narrated the documentary film. Her fabricated narrative generated a lot of excitement. Nevertheless. Conj. In spite of that. Nonetheless. She was quite sick, nevertheless, she attended all of her classes. His project was flawed, nevertheless, it won second prize. Obsolete. Being old-fashioned, no longer in general use. Outdated. Some people believe that writing instruments, such as pencils and pens, will soon be obsolete. Some products are manufactured with planned obsolescence. Omit. To leave out, not include. Neglect. She inadvertently omitted some important data from the report. His paper had several notable omissions. Outlandish. Strange and unpleasant, beyond accepted norms. Bizarre. His outlandish ideas demonstrated his creativity. Rebellious youth in many countries dress outlandishly. Overcome. To defeat, fight with success, to take control of an individual. Conquer. The young woman was overcome with emotion when she learned she had won a scholarship. The family overcame many obstacles to purchase the house. Partially. A part of the whole, incomplete. Somewhat. The clerk was only partially responsible for the error. The business venture was only a partial success. Pass. To accept formally by vote. Approve. The proposed amendment passed unanimously. The passage of the resolution is in doubt. Portray. To represent, to act. Depict. The actress portrayed often in the movie. The book's portrayal of Mozart as a calm, mature individual is inaccurate. Streamline. To update, to make more efficient or concise. Simplify. The planning process must be streamlined in order for it to be more reliable. Internet stores have streamlined the process of finding, buying, and selling merchandise. Decline. To move from good to bad, or from much to little, to refuse. Decrease. The old man's health has declined since he retired. Serious communicable diseases are on the decline in most parts of the world. Gather. To collect. Collect. He carefully gathered his thoughts just before the interview. A gathering of citizens developed outside the courthouse. Motion. The state of changing one's position. To direct by moving. Movement. The motion of the flame was hypnotic. They motioned her to leave the area. Outburst. A sudden and intense release of something. Eruption. The joke caused an outburst of laughter from the audience. There was an outburst of complaints from the students when the teacher moved the test to Monday. Partisan. Strongly supporting a group or point of view. Biased. Partisan political infighting caused Congress's influence to decline. His views reflected his partisan bias. Pattern. A regular, repeated arrangement or action. Habit. The bright pattern of the monarch butterfly distracts its predators. The new stadium was patterned after the old traditional ballparks. Phenomena. Natural events or facts, strange or notable happenings. Events. Rain showers are an almost unknown phenomena in the Atacama Desert of Chile. The musician's phenomenal performance was applauded by the critics. Philanthropic. A feeling of love for people, usually resulting in financial aid to worthy causes. Humanitarian. The philanthropic work of the foundation benefits all sectors of society. His philanthropy is recognized around the world. Placid. Quiet, not easily upset. Calm. The placid nature of her personality made her easy to work with. The waves moved placidly toward shore. Plentiful. more than sufficient, abundant. Examples of Myra's art are plentiful. A balanced diet normally provides plenty of the necessary vitamins. Reaction. A reply, a change that occurs when substances are mixed. Response. When chlorine and ammonia are mixed, the chemical reaction causes chlorine gas. They reacted to the report by making some swift changes in management. Rhythm. A regular pattern, usually in music. Pulse. The rhythm of the rain hitting the roof put him to sleep. She noticed the rhythmic beating of her heart as the moment of truth arrived. Scenic. Concerning pleasant natural surroundings. Picturesque. The scenic route to the summit is much more interesting than the fastest route. The scenery in rural Japan is impressive. Shallow. Not far from top to bottom. Superficial. Estuaries are typically shallow bodies of water. The results of their research demonstrated the shallowness of the hypothesis. Sheltered. Protected from harmful elements, isolated from reality. Protected. She has led a sheltered life. Her parents have done everything for her. Everyone looked for shelter from the blazing sun. Vanishing. Going out of sight. Disappearing. The red squirrel is a vanishing species that needs a protected habitat to survive. No one knows with certainty what caused the dinosaurs to vanish from the face of the earth. Account. A report of an event, money kept in a bank, a statement of something used or received, usually a financial report. Store. His account of the incident varied from that of the other witnesses. We need an accounting of all the money that was spent. Archaic. Very old, old-fashioned, no longer used. Ancient. These archaic methods of farming must be brought up to date. His speech was full of archaic expressions. Bring about. To cause something to happen. Generate. The invention of the cell phone brought about an end to the popularity of traditional telephones. The newly elected president of the club promised to bring about positive changes. Enlighten. To give information or understanding to someone. Instruct. Books often enlighten readers to different ways of thinking. The speaker enlightened the audience on how to succeed in college. Hasten. To cause to go faster. Move forward more quickly. Accelerate. After notifying the driver's family of the accident, the officer hastened to add that their son had not been hurt. You should not make important decisions hastily. Hue. Color. The hue of the sunset was beautiful. The hue of the room gave it a warm feeling. inactive, not moving, not involved, idle. The virus remains inactive for a long period of time. Her inaction has caused her to miss many opportunities to advance her career. Intricate. Having many parts, finely detailed. Complex. The intricate design of the vase made it a valuable piece for her collection. I cannot begin to understand all of the intricacies of modern automobile motors. Magnitude. Of great size or importance. To increase. Dimension. The magnitude of shock waves determines the damage that occurs during an earthquake. The invention of the telephone was a magnificent achievement for mankind. Oblige. To have to do something. Require. She obliged her friend to choose a new lab partner. Payment of the student activity fee was obligatory. Overlook. To ignore or neglect. Disregard. Scientists must not overlook any aspect of the experimental procedure. The overlooked error raised his score on the test. Poll. Questionnaire, a vote of public opinion. Survey. The poll indicated that conservation of the environment was the #1 issue with college students. The pollster asked the questions in a non-partisan manner. Practical. Convenient or effective. Functional. Her ambitious plan was not very practical. Space travel to distant planets is not practicable at this time. Predominant. The most noticeable or powerful element. Principle. The predominant export of the Middle East is petroleum. Many cities in the southwest are predominantly Hispanic. Prompt. To cause something to happen, do quickly, be on time. Induce. His emotional plea prompted the director to give him a second chance. Promptness is an important factor in many societies. Provoke. To cause or produce negative behavior or result. Trigger. The installation of speed cameras provoked an angry response from the public. The manager did not deliberately provoke the argument among his workers. Analogous. Alike in some way. Similar to. The action of light waves is analogous to the action of sound waves. The analogy between the behavior of the bacteria in the lab and in the human body is not clear. Approximately. Almost correct, not exact. Around. There are approximately 500 billion galaxies in the universe. The results of this study approximate those of a previous study. Compel. To make something happen by necessity or force. Obliged. The representatives were compelled to vote in favor of the legislation despite their personal opposition to it. The lawyer's plea was made in a compelling manner. Compile. To collect. Assemble. The film club asked each of its members to compile a list of his or her favorite movies. The book is a compilation of Shakespeare's plays. Formidable. Difficult, causing worry or fear. Overwhelming. Their formidable opponents gave no sign of weakness. The man's voice echoed formidably throughout the hallway. Intrusive. The state of being inside when not desired to be there by others. Annoying. The intrusive bacteria caused his condition to worsen. The intrusion of the hazardous gas made it difficult to live in the house. Periodic. Occurring at specific, determined periods of time. Regularly. Periodic payments must be made on home loans. Some people need periodic doses of medicine. Prone. Likely to do something. Inclined to. Most liquids are prone to contract when frozen. She is prone to study hard the night before her tests. Prophetic. Correctly telling about future events. Predictive. His prophetic powers were investigated by a team of psychologists. The brilliant student fulfilled his teacher's prophecy that he would be a successful doctor. Proportions. Add relationship of size or importance when compared to another object or person. Dimensions. The goal of establishing a space station will take a team effort of major proportions. The pilot's salary is proportional to that of pilots of other airlines. Readily. Willingly, easily. Freely. The workers readily complained about the food in the cafeteria. Her readiness to cooperate was an important factor in the investigation. Reliably. In a trusted way. Dependably. An appliance must perform its task reliably to be popular with consumers. Satellite photos show the smallest details with great reliability. Reluctantly. Unwillingly. Hesitatingly. Although not completely satisfied with the contract, the officials reluctantly agreed to sign it. The electrician was reluctant to estimate the cost of the repair work. Renown. Fame. Prominence. This school is of great renown. The renowned conductor made a guest appearance at the concert. Revive. To restore to life or bring back into memory. Renew. The students revived the old tradition of having a homecoming dance. Old plays are sometimes revived by applying modern interpretations to their content. Triumph. A victory, a success. Achievement. His career was characterized by one triumph after another. He triumphed over all of his difficulties. Affordable. Able to be done, usually referring to something you can do without damage or loss. Economical. The new dictionary is quite affordable. He could afford the house because of current low interest rates. Contaminated. To make something impure by adding something dirty or a poisonous substance. Pollute. This contaminated water supply must be closed off to the public. Bacteria and insects are frequently agents of food contamination. Discernible. Noticeable, easily seen. Detectable. A feeling of anxiety was discernible among the members of the team. The new student was unable to discern the humor of the teacher's joke. Flourishing. Active and growing, healthy. Thriving. Small flourishing companies would be harmed by an increase in the minimum wage. A young mind will flourish with proper guidance. Maintain. To support, to keep in good condition. Preserve. The building had to be renovated because it was not well maintained. Proper maintenance of a car's engine will preserve its performance and value. Mediocre. Of average quality, not good or bad. Average. This is a mediocre research report. The mediocrity of his work was disappointing. Negligible. Hardly noticeable, scarcely detectable. To ignore, to give little attention. Insignificant. The number of bacteria in the culture was negligible. His negligence caused him to lose all of the work he had done on the computer. Parallel. Being almost of the same type or time, comparable. Similar. There were many parallels between his life and mine. Her background parallels mine. Peculiar. Unusual, uncommon. Strange. This plastic has a peculiar texture. The puffin has many peculiarities not shared by other birds. Potent. Very strong. Powerful. He gave a potent speech at the convention. The venom of the coral snake is extremely potent. Remarkable. Worthy of mention, uncommon. Exceptional. The invention of the radio was a remarkable achievement. The actor was remarkably calm before his performance. Scattered. Spread out or separated widely. Dispersed. Hurricane Andrew left debris scattered throughout Miami. The crowd scattered when it began to rain heavily. solid. Having good quality, being well made, firm, not a gas or liquid. Steady. The lawyer for the defense portrayed his client as a man of solid integrity. The union attempted to solidify its position in the workplace. Somewhat. A little. Slight. They feel somewhat tired after the mile run. Buying food at a convenience store can be somewhat expensive. Stem from. To emerge or develop from something. Originate. The author's talent in writing stems from his love of reading books. Many opportunities have stemmed from his decision to attend the university. Tedious. Long and tiring. Monotonous. The tedious lecture bored most of the audience. Some people become frustrated by the tedium of daily living. Briefly. Short, usually in time. Concisely. The visiting professor spoke briefly at the faculty meeting. Solar eclipses are brief moments when the Earth and Moon cross the Sun's fixed position in the solar system. Circulate. To cause to move along a fixed path. Move freely. Distribute. The news of the president's visit circulated quickly throughout the city. A dollar bill remains in circulation for approximately 1.5 years. Consistently. Without changing, keeping the same principles, ideas, or quality. Dependably. The temperature must be maintained consistently at 75 degrees centigrade. The policy of the government concerning unemployment has been consistent. Exhibit. To show or demonstrate. Display. The compound exhibits the qualities of an acid. It was the best exhibition of talent that I have ever seen. Found. To establish, start up. A philanthropic organization. Establish. The wealthy woman founded a hospital in her hometown. The foundation maintained a number of philanthropic activities. Improperly. Not following established rules, not desirable. Inappropriately. The disappointing outcome was a result of an improperly prepared petri dish. There was an impropriety with the way the funds were spent. Impulsively. Acting without thinking. Capriciously. She reacted impulsively to the loud noise. Many shoppers buy items on impulse. Infrequently. Almost never. Rarely. Tornadoes occur infrequently in the eastern part of the United States. Deserts are characterized by their infrequent rainfall. Isolated. To keep separated from others. Secluded. The failure of the communications system left the towns isolated. The doctors were unable to isolate the cause of the epidemic. Overtly. In a way clearly seen, not done secretly. Openly. He overtly disregarded the regulations. Her overt attempt to take control of the discussion failed. Profoundly. In a deep way, showing a deep knowledge of a subject. Significantly. Everyone was profoundly impressed by the news reports. The Nobel Prize is a profound recognition of outstanding achievement. Sharply. Showing sensitivity or quick thinking, showing a quick change in direction. Quickly. Car prices rose sharply over the past year. There was a sharp change in the humidity after the storm. Situated. Being found in a certain place. A current condition. Located. The resort town of Cancun is situated in the northern part of the Yucatan Peninsula. They found themselves in a very difficult situation. Subsequently. Following, coming after something. Afterwards. The public applauded the president's actions and subsequently, his ratings in the polls improved. This report, and all subsequent reports, must be written in the appropriate style. Unmistakable. Clearly able to be determined. Indisputable. The markings of the insect provided for an unmistakable identification of the species. It is unmistakably clear that the report must be finished by noon. Upstanding. Marked by integrity, good, honest, moral. The school only accepts upstanding young adults. The neighborhood has been kept clean and beautiful thanks to its upstanding residents. Chaotic. Being in complete disorder and confusion. Disorganized. The traffic in Seoul is often chaotic. There was complete chaos when the world champions arrived at the airport. Controversial. Causing disagreement or argument. Divisive. The governor made a controversial decision to raise taxes. The controversy was caused by the proposal to build an airport in the area. Exemplify. To give an example. Symbolize. The recent downturn in the housing industry exemplifies the poor economic conditions. Her exemplary academic achievement is representative of most students at this institution. Factor in. To account for something while making a decision or analysis. Consider. The family had to factor in the price of gasoline as they planned their road trip. The architect did not factor in the required distance from the sidewalk in his design. Gratifying. Giving pleasure or a feeling of accomplishment, showing thanks. Satisfying. Studying abroad can be a very gratifying experience. She was grateful for all the work he had done for her. Interpret. You to understand the meaning of something. Clarify. The ambiguous speech was very difficult to interpret. Their interpretation of the story generated some interesting discussion. Launch. To cause something to begin. Initiate. The company launched a new program to attract more clients. The launching of the first Soviet Sputnik created concern among the American public. Legitimate. Reasonable, lawful. Authentic. The engineer had a legitimate reason for changing the design of the building. The legitimacy of the theory has yet to be determined. Lethargy. A lack of energy or commitment, lazy, indifferent. Sluggishness. The hippopotamus basking in the sun displayed almost total lethargy. When it is time to do homework assignments, many students become lethargic. Particular. A certain way or thing. Unusual, hard to please. Especially. Specific. The speaker has a particular way of persuading his audience. That group of workers is particularly difficult to satisfy. Radiant. Sending out in all directions, especially heat or light. Bright. The actor's radiant smile captivated the audience. The radiance of the fire prevented the firefighters from entering the house. Ridge. The top of a mountain range, a raised part of any surface. Crest. A bald eagle stood on the ridge of the tall office building. The mountain ridge was heavily forested. Span. The length of time or distance from one limit to the other, to cross. Cover. The old man's life spanned 2 centuries. The span of the bridge is 3 miles. Spontaneous. Unplanned, uncontrolled. Instinctive. The spontaneous combustion inside the cylinder creates the power of the motor. The crowd reacted spontaneously to the danger. Stream. A natural flow of something, a pouring out. River. There was a constant stream of information coming from the White House. Water streamed from the dam as workers attempted to make the repairs. Striking. Drawing special attention to. Remarkable. His striking proposal saved the company from bankruptcy. That was a strikingly convincing argument that the speaker delivered. Aptly. Having a tendency to do something, likely. Appropriately. It was an aptly timed remark. Emotional problems are apt to damage personal relationships. Demonstration. A show or exhibit. Overtly showing emotion. Display. The demonstration clarified the procedure for everyone. I have never seen politicians so demonstrative of their feelings. Ingredients. Things combined to make something. The contents of something. Elements. The ingredients of the product are kept secret. Good style, punctuation, and grammar are the important ingredients of a good essay. Involuntarily. In an unthinking manner, not chosen. Automatically. He involuntarily worked overtime. Reflexes are involuntary reactions to external stimuli. Marvel. Something that surprises or impresses. Wonder. The Great Wall of China is one of the world's marvels. The weather was marvelous for an afternoon get-together in the park. Moderate. Not too much. Not too little. To reduce. Medium. She made the best of her moderate dancing ability. The Broadway play was moderately successful. Motivate. To provide a reason or purpose for doing something. Encourage. Grades motivate most students to do well in their studies. The speaker gave a motivational speech that inspired everyone in the audience. Odd. Unusual. Strange. It is odd to find a person who speaks many languages. The moon rock is an oddity available at the museum for all to view. Profuse. To be very generous, often in excess. Abundant. The company apologized profusely for the defects in its product. She deserved the profuse praise from her teacher. Reflection. A picture or element thrown back. Image. This bright smile was a reflection of his satisfaction. In order for us to perceive something visually, light must be reflected from the object's surface. Succinct. Shortened to the point. Concise. Since she had little time to speak, the biologist made her presentation succinct. The class assignment is to summarize the book's plot as succinctly as possible. Supposedly. According to reports or hearsay, widely believed or accepted. Presumably. The new trains are supposedly able to reach speeds of 150 miles per hour. The stockbroker's supposition is that the economy will improve. Sustained. Continuing in a constant way, remaining strong. Consistent. Sustained rainfall is the only hope they have for relief from the drought. Luckily, the trees did not sustain any damage from the attack of the locusts. Symbols. Signs or objects that represent something or somebody. Marks. The strange symbols found in Egyptian tombs have intrigued historians for centuries. This painting symbolizes the universal themes of humanity. Synthesis. The mixing of separate things to form a whole. Not made by nature. Combination. The language of Papiamento is a synthesis of Dutch and native Indian languages of Curaçao. Vitamins are synthetically produced. Tangible. Real. That which can be felt. Concrete. The work of a teacher seldom produces tangible results until years after a student has graduated. The solution to this problem can be tangibly demonstrated. Aggravating. Making worse, annoying. Irritating. The aggravating delay was caused by road repairs. The shortage of work aggravated the crisis in the small town. Amusement. Something that holds interest and is enjoyable. Diversion. We listened in amusement as he tried to convince his friend to lend him $50. His amusing comment made everyone laugh. Conceivably. Feasibly, believably. Possibly. They could conceivably earn a first place with their science project. It is conceivable that humans will travel to distant planets one day. Convert. To change from one form or state to another. Alter. When boiled, liquids convert into gases. The conversion from Fahrenheit to centigrade can be easily made. Curative. Being able to restore to good condition. Healing. The curative properties of certain plants have been well documented. There is no simple cure for the ills of society. Debilitating. Weakening. The lack of investment savings has a debilitating effect on the economy. The patient's debility limited his mobility. Deplete. To use up, reduce greatly. Consume. The depleted all of her savings to buy the word processor. The depletion of the Earth's soil reserves poses a threat to our current way of life. Finite. Of a certain amount. Having an end, not infinite. Limited. There are a finite number of explanations for the unusual results. Is there a finite number of stars in the universe? Perceive. To sense, become aware of. Observe. We perceive the major differences between the two political parties. Porpoises are very perceptive mammals. Security. The feeling of freedom from danger, doubt, or worry. Safety. Her sense of security increased as her grades improved. We secured all of the doors of the lab before leaving. Take on. To accept a task, to deal with something. Undertake. Certain programs take on the task of protecting a computer from harmful internet viruses. The athlete enjoys taking on new fitness challenges. toxic, harmful, capable of being fatal, poisonous. The disposal of toxic wastes is an ongoing environmental issue. This product has the highest toxicity of any known to science. Tranquility, calm, quietness, peacefulness. The tranquility of the lake at sunrise inspired a profound sense of well-being. His tranquil manner of expression made us all feel more secure. Trap. To catch and hold on to, usually by trickery, deceived. Retain. I was trapped in paying for the meal. The trapped animals were released after being tagged by the wildlife conservationists. Undeniably. Clearly true. Absolutely. Of all the planets in our solar system, the Earth is undeniably the most conducive to supporting life. It is undeniable that he has the skill, but he needs to show more initiative. Underestimated. Guessed lower than the actual quantity. Miscalculated. The underestimated demand for tickets made the theatre manager plan better for the next performance. The treasurer underestimated the cost of the new furniture. Acknowledge. To know, remember and accept the existence of something. Recognize. The foreman acknowledged the fact that there had been a mistake in the design of the house. The promotion he received was an acknowledgement of his excellent work. Acquire. To gain or come to possess. Obtain. He acquired 2 beautiful paintings during his visit to Taipei. The office's most recent acquisition was a new photocopier. Assimilate. To become a part of. Incorporate. The United States of America has assimilated people from all parts of the world. Assimilation of a new cultural environment can be difficult. Assortment. A variety. Selection. You have an assortment of elective courses from which to choose. He bought a box of assorted books at the book fair. Caliber. The standard of, the degree of goodness. Quality. The high caliber of her work earned her a raise in pay. Only parts of the highest caliber can be used to make repairs on the spacecraft. Condensed. Made smaller, shortened, merge. Summarize. This is a condensed version of the original research report. Try to condense the 2 chapters into one. Contradictory. Not agreeing with the facts or previous statements made on the subject, declared wrong. Inconsistent. It is contradictory to say that you know French after studying it for only 3 months. The expert contradicted himself during his presentation. Disregard. To pay no attention. Ignore. They disregarded the no parking signs and were ticketed by the police. His disregard for the lab instructions caused him to make many errors. Precious. Having much monetary or sentimental value, beautiful. This golden ring is my most precious possession. The precious stone was one of a kind. Prominent. Famous. Having a high position. Renowned. Their talent for locating oil deposits made them prominent geologists in the corporation. He gained prominence through his television appearances. Requisite. Needed for a specific purpose. A formal request. Demanded. Here is the list of requisite courses for the master's degree in biology. The project team made a requisition for a new set of reference books. Stable. Experiencing few or no changes, not moving. Steady. Be sure the ladder is stable before climbing it. Most people believe that maintaining economic stability is an important goal of every government. Unravel. To organize, make clear. Separate. The detective was not able to unravel the mystery of the missing money. The unraveling of the Soviet Union took place in the span of a few months. Vague. Not clear. Ambiguous. Unclear. She has only vague memories of her childhood. The vagueness of his directions caused us to get lost. Vast. Very much, very large. Huge. I have noticed a vast improvement in your English vocabulary. Unfortunately, the water quality has deteriorated vastly since my last visit here. Volume. The amount of something contained in a space. Holding a lot. Quantity. The volume of information that a flash drive can hold is astounding. This voluminous report will erase your doubt about the financial condition of the company.
Hi guys, this is the last session of IELTS and TOEFL essential words. I hope these vocabularies have made you stronger in various skills such as writing, reading, speaking, and listening. Don't forget that paraphrasing is one of the most important skills that you need to develop from the early time that you start to prepare for IELTS or TOEFL exams. Please keep in mind that you still need to review these words. You have to repeat these vocabularies in different period of times. I know it's tiring and boring, but use your imagination and think about your goal. Your goal might be immigration, it might be working for an international company, I don't know, you just have to find it yourself. And last but not least, do the quiz test in Zandi English website. Each lesson has a quiz and the link is in the description. It is free and it can be fun. Just challenge yourself to answer all of the questions correctly. At the end, I would like to thank all of you who subscribed and left a comment. With your support, I'm going to make more videos about IELTS. Thank you very much.
Charisma. a special quality that endears other people to the person who has this quality. Appeal. She has a charisma that no other candidate possesses. John F. Kennedy was known for his charismatic personality. Clever. Intelligent. Resourceful. Astute. Everyone appreciated their clever idea. His cleverness enabled him to rise quickly in the organization. Convince. To make someone see things your way. Persuade. They could not convince the girls to go to the dance with them. The video made a convincing argument for the recycling of paper and plastic materials. Endure. To last, suffer pain. Persevere. How he is able to endure living next to the airport is beyond my comprehension. The endurance displayed by the athlete gave evidence of his rigorous training. Forfeit. To give up, to have something taken away, usually by rule or regulation. Relinquish. Usually, you must forfeit your native country's citizenship to become a citizen of another country. To forfeit occurred because not enough players showed up. Precarious. Not safe, firm, or steady. Hazardous. The diver put himself in a precarious situation among the sharks. The toe cup was positioned precariously on the edge of the table. Severe. Extreme, harmful. Intense. The Weather Service issued a severe storm warning for most of Michigan. The severity of his condition will not be known until the test results are studied. Sporadic. Not consistent, irregular. Erratic. The radio communications were subject to sporadic sunspot interference. Violent storms occur sporadically in the southwest. Superior. Excellent quality, above all the rest. Exceptional. This is a superior fossil of a trilobite. Toe Restaurant's superiority was established shortly after it opened. Truncate. To shorten, to end something suddenly. Cut. The television program was truncated because the soccer match went into extra time. The publishers of the newspaper asked the writer to truncate her report. Wanton. Done without thought or consideration, grossly negligent. Senseless. Her wanton disregard of the rules was unexplainable. The jealous man was wantonly impolite to the winner. Weak. Not strong, incapable. Ineffective. The weak light was inadequate for reading. Most people have at least one area of weakness. Widespread. Found everywhere. Extensive. There is a widespread rumor that there will be no class next Thursday. The political influence of the developed countries of the world is widespread. Wisdom. knowledge and understanding. Insight. It is often said that wisdom is the product of experience. It was a wise decision for you to buy a car. Witticism. A joke, a funny story. Humor. His witticisms captivated the audience. Mark Twain was famous for his sharp wit. Woo. To make efforts to attain or gain something. Attract. The directors tried to woo the support of the Union. The opponents of the proposed highway wooed nearby residents to defend their position.